Life is but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour up on the stage. And then is heard no more.
I presume most of you are familiar with Unturned.
Crazy, I'm sorry, but you must have some type of mental disability.
It's probably my favorite game of all time. Well, was my favorite game of all time.
Now, I know that Z-Man isn't the best person and he hasn't always made the best fucking arguments or whatever, but you always have to look at what they have to say and if they have anything that, like, has meaning behind it, you know? Like, even if they're a fucking idiot, even if they're just a memer or whatever, there's still a little bit of truth behind what people say.
At this point, Unturned isn't even Unturned anymore. Basically every popular server is semi-vanilla or creative RP or /kit/home, TPA, all that shit. Not only that, but most people don't even play Unturned to play Unturned anymore. People play Unturned to play mods that import other games into Unturned. For example, Rust Turned, Escape from Unturned. These are based on actual games. I can't believe I have to say that because there are actually some brainlets out there that think that these are original mods for Unturned. No, these are just imports of another game. All the audio, probably some of the models, they're all imported, and it's just fucking, it's bullshit because that's not what Unturned is. Unturned isn't Rust or Escape from Tarkov. Unturned is Unturned. And if you want to play these games, just fucking play the actual game. It's probably going to be a 10 times better gameplay experience for you if you play the actual game instead of playing the Unturned version. Not only that, but in my opinion, I think the main killer of survival in Unturned was Rocket Mod. The ability to spawn any item in at any point. Or the ability to get a paid kit where you pay a little bit of money and then you can spawn in literally any gun you want. That level of customization in Unturned turned it from a survival game to a first-person shooter game. More similar to Battlefield than anything else. And just so you guys know that I'm not talking out of my ass here, I went out and got opinions from a variety of different people. The first one being Liam Does Game. Liam Does Game has 4,000 hours in Unturned, and this is what he had to say. Alright, so Liam, you have like how many hours on Unturned? Like 6K or some shit?
No, 4.7.
Oh, okay. 4,000 hours on Unturned.
Yeah.
You've been streaming like every week consistently for the past like how many years?
2 years now.
2 years?
Yeah.
So you probably know Unturned better than most. So
Yep.
What do you think like the main issues with 3.0 are?
Honestly, the rocket mod, the rocket thing, like TPA, home, and all of that kind of stuff. Because like Unturned was mainly supposed to be a survival game, but for example, like you're looting and then you're being chased by somebody, and then you just do /home, and that's it. You're safe. So there's not really fun in that. There's no like intense moment when you could like maybe fight them or actually try to escape them. And the TPA is the same thing. For example, like you could just be a solo player and then you kill somebody and then he has a teammate and everybody from his team just TPs to him. So there's not really like survival into that. It's just like, it's like Call of Duty or CSGO.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's not survival. And vanilla servers are dead, honestly. The whole glitching Unturned, for example, like under the map glitching, where somebody could just glitch down and see everything that's above him, and the other player would have absolutely no clue. That's something I really, really hate. Obviously, Unturned hackers, but that's something you honestly can't just get rid of, even though that battle eye is garbage.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of it. That's what really annoys me in Unturned.
Considering I've been on a lot of Liam's 12-hour and 24-hour live streams, I understand his pain. People abuse the TPA system all the time. Another big problem with Unturned is admin abuse. You can raid an entire admin base and then have the admin roll back the server, undoing all of your progress. I know someone that actually has this exact experience. His name is Trevor, but his username is Zombie. He's a channel with 40,000 subscribers and got popular on Rust and Unturned videos. This is what he had to say. The problem with Unturned is that it tries to do too many things at once, leaving all of them less than ideal. Don't get me wrong, you can have tons of fun with your friends on the game, and in moderation it can be a blast. But if you get addicted to it and play it nonstop, you will eventually find that everything feels kind of hollow. I wouldn't put the blame on Nelson, and I can relate to his struggle in terms of YouTube. No matter how much work you put in, there will always be people that hate it, and trying to please everyone results in countless revisions to the point where you've spent months on something that's just okay. I personally don't care how long it takes for Unturned 2 to come out anymore. I'm sure it'll be great, but I'm done desperately waiting for it, and have moved on to other things, which I think is a healthy way to approach it. Another person that I reached out to is also a good friend of mine. His current username is Elkstra, but he used to go by Cheesy Goose. Me and Cheesy Goose met on a server owned by a guy called Beardman. You guys might be familiar with Beardman, because he's the Red Rooski. This was my original group of friends when I first started playing Unturned. However, Elkstra stopped talking to me for a very long time, and only recently did I figure out why that was, and why he stopped playing Unturned.
I used to play Unturned daily. I mainly played on a server called Beardman Semi-RP, where I became an admin. One night, there was someone building a shop with his friend. It was Z-Man. So, I abused my admin powers and gave him a bunch of weapons. We quickly became friends, and played on this server together for a long time. Eventually, I stopped talking to them, giving no warning. I had been grounded for a month for cursing around them, and I never started talking to anyone from that group again up until recently. Unturned was fun to watch for its player interaction. However, the player interaction became stale. The once thriving community reduced to kids wanting to do a military roleplay and being annoying. I'm in a lot of Z-Man's older videos. That high-pitched kid talking is me.
Let's go.
You're recording again?
Yes, I am. I am recording, actually, as a matter of fact. I'm recording right now.
So am I.
What?
The third opinion I wanted to get about Unturned comes from a man named Logan. His username is DK Machine, and he's different from all the rest, because his channel was falsely deleted by YouTube about a year ago. His channel had 1.8 thousand subscribers, which is a little more than me. He tried contacting Team YouTube to ask why his channel got deleted, but they never replied. He also tried contacting large content creators to try to get them to speak out about this, but either they didn't respond or they gave him half-baked advice. Logan still plays Unturned from time to time. This is what he had to say.
In my opinion, the problem with Unturned is the fact that it's not in the honeymoon stage or golden era that it used to be back in 2014, 2016, and those years. And the reason for that is because back in 2014, that's when Unturned 2 kind of boomed into what it is now. It gained popularity back then, and soon enough, 2 years later, Unturned 3.0 came out, and that is when I started making YouTube videos about it. That is when me and my friends started meeting each other. From 2016 to 2018, that was my prime time for playing Unturned. I'd say June 20th, 2016 was like a turning point for me, because that's when Nilex made the nuke video, and that for me jump started me back into Unturned. That's when me and my friends fucking got on almost every single day and just hung out. We would work on some videos and we would have fun. For me, that was my golden era of Unturned. That's when I saw the community thriving the most, was back in 2016. 4 years ago. That's when I met all these YouTubers. That's when I became part of the community that I was observing. And I had a blast. So did everyone else. There was drama. There was everyone getting together, being nice. What more could you ask for in a community? The game, you could still have fun, but for me, it depends on who I'm hanging out with. It depends on who I'm playing with. I can't hop into a random server and start talking to people and have fun, I guess you could say. I can't get on a server and just talk to people and play Unturned. I just get bored. And that may be because I'm just growing as a person, approaching 19 years old. I have played this game since I was 15. I guess I'm just getting old, and my taste for games like this is just dying down. But I can't blame it on the community. If I could blame it on any mechanics in game, I would. But I guess the closest thing I could say to an actual in-game problem would just be the maps. The maps are pretty fucking boring. You go on to Washington, you can get looted up in like 5 minutes. You go on to PEI, you can get looted up in 5 minutes to just control the server. You make a base, you get raided overnight. I guess those are simpler answers to a problem with Unturned, but for me, I think the game's just old. It's just growing out. And I have hope for when 4.0 comes out, or Unturned 2, that it will revive the community again. New people will join and see it as a new opportunity for a community, a new one, a spark that we've all been waiting for. I really hope that happens. I have hope and faith that it will. But for right now, I think Unturned 3 is just settled. It's just going to continue riding its last couple years, and until 4.0 comes out, I don't see the revival of Unturned anytime soon. Because it has left its honeymoon period. People are growing old. So is Unturned.
The last opinion I got for Chapter 1 is from a man who is a nostalgia enthusiast. He goes by Robocast. He is a YouTuber with 350,000 subscribers, and he got popular off of Unturned videos and then later on video essays and content that triggers nostalgia in its viewers. He's also the creator of the video The Problem with Unturned, which garnered almost 1 million views. This is what he had to say. Alright, so, hello Robocast, thank you for doing this interview. So, it's been like 2 years since your video about Unturned?
Damn, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years. Since then, you've done a lot better, actually. You went off and did other shit, and that did like way better than Unturned. Which is, like, that's probably one of the main reasons why you don't make that many Unturned videos anymore.
Yeah, I'd say something along those lines.
Is there any other reasons? Like, did the game just get old for you or whatever?
Yeah, so honestly, at first, whenever I first quit playing, I had different feelings than I have now. You know, to me, the game was very stale at that point. I had like 1,700 hours in it, and like I know people with more than that, but when you're making content on the same thing for that long, it's obvious when you're not enjoying it as much anymore. Like, you could tell in the videos that I wasn't enjoying it as much as when I first started playing.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a big factor. It's just like I was kind of burnt out and I just needed to do something different. But there were a couple other reasons related to the game itself. But like I said, over time, it's transitioned less from that into more of just I realized I was burnt out.
And like today, it's like at least the way I see it, not even like people don't even really play Unturned for Unturned. It's like I see so many people that play like Rust Turn now and Escape from Unturned off and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, like that's a huge thing now, and it's kind of like sad because I guess the survival aspect, it's not really enjoyable, at least for me. Like I don't really get that much enjoyment out of it.
I feel like that also stems down to what I said about like how many hours do you have in the game?
I have 2,700.
Yeah, it's honestly rare in general to find a game that you can play for that long and it doesn't get stale. I personally think a lot of my problem with the game stemmed more or less from the addition of a couple things. First of all, tanks. Tanks just were too much for me. Tanks, planes, and helicopters in general were just like, it was kind of drifting away at that point. But then there was Arena, more focused towards PvP. Then there were, a couple other updates that were heavily PvP focused, which is fine when your game is supposed to be about PvP, but Unturned's about survival. So I think it's over time, it just slowly turned into more of a PvP game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does turn you off from it if you're playing it for the purpose of surviving. God damn it, I was going to say something. It was important.
I think I get where you're going with it. Like, the game was like survival for the longest time, from like Dead Zone up until 3, and then
Yeah.
it's kind of, at least for me, it relates to like, it's more of like a battlefield game than anything else at this point. Like,
Yeah, it kind of feels like COD, like, or not COD. That's probably not the best example, but it just feels like a game where the whole goal is to just kill people and continue. Like, there's not really a lot of progression on the survival aspect of things. And oh, I remember what I was going to say now. It stems down, I think, with some of the core mechanics. Like when you think of a survival game along the lines of The Long Dark, for example.
yeah.
Every single aspect of it is designed around that. So like your hunger systems are designed around how often you find food, your warmth. All of those things are more focused on the survival. But with a game like this in general, it's kind of hard to do that, especially when you look at the comparison of like DayZ. Like DayZ, yeah, it's a survival game, but there's still a lot of PvP. Rust, pretty much the same thing. And I just think a game like this in general is hard to keep that focus where it needs to be.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because Rust was like less KOS, I guess you could say. Like, people were more friendly, and then over time, it's now just like you have to kill someone to progress.
Yeah. I did really like the addition of the different zombie types. I thought that was a really solid update with Unturned. Definitely a step in the right direction. I think I'd be really sick if the new Unturned has more focus on those different zombie types. You know, like that plus the quest in the Liberator. You know, there was like quest to where like, oh, find this type of zombie and kill them, and then you would get rewarded for it.
Oh yeah.
If the new version of the game has like more tiered areas with different types of zombies, that would be sick. So instead of like, oh, like I'm in this area and there's like 5 fire zombies, 5 walkers, 5 crawlers, maybe have like this one region of the map is just like a pretty chill area, like none of the crazy infected zombies are there, but like, you know, as you get up to this separate area that's in a dead zone, there's more mega zombies, and then this area is like near a volcano, so there's a bunch of fire zombies and mega fire zombies. I think that could be a pretty cool addition.
Yeah, I genuinely think that there should be more mega zombies, in my opinion.
Yeah, like more of a challenge for the player. Because, I mean, zombies, dude, the fact that you could punch zombies to death and then just go to, like, the world border and then lose their aggro and then just do it over and over again makes it pretty much extremely easy.
Yeah, the zombie survival aspects are, like, so forgiving that it's, like, an annoyance and not even really a challenge anymore, at least for me.
Yeah, and you don't really get anything meaningful from killing them. Like, they may drop something here and there, but
like a 17% rake or something like that. Besides
yeah,
that,
no,
like...
dude, 17% rake is not worth it. Do you think the new version will have like free roaming zombies? I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with it. That would be cool.
I really hope so. The other thing I really hope is that Nelson makes his own anti-cheat, because BattleEye is like a mess.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. It seems like, I think Unturned, this like 3.0 started more of like a passion project and slowly evolved, but you could tell that 4.0 is going to be more fleshed out from the beginning, like more of a professional put together game.
Yeah, because 3.0 took like 6 months to make, like originally, and then like this 4.0 is taking like 2 years or something like that.
I would say that Unturned isn't a bad game. I think my burnout kind of made me think it was worse than it actually is. But any game that was made by like a single developer still has 30,000 concurrent active players and still has a insane community after this long, it can't really be considered a bad game. You know what I mean? Like, it's still a genuinely good game, and I think the fact that we have a couple of thousand hours on it shows that.
Yeah.
But we see a perspective that a lot of people don't see because of how many hours we have. So if these small things can be changed in the new version, I think it'll have more of a retention of people playing for 5,000-6,000 hours and not getting burnt out.
Yeah, that, and I hope it's like actual survival this time.
Yeah, more of a focus would be cool.
I guess the last thing I'm gonna ask is, what would be something that you would love to see in 4?
So, like I said, to put this out there, I'm not keeping up with it. So what I'm suggesting may very well already be an idea.
Yeah.
But I think a more fleshed out weapon system would be cool. I've heard something along the lines that they're doing it, but more or less like making the repair system a little bit different and more useful. Like, for example, the way it works right now, where you just like, oh, your gun breaks, you go find some scrap and then repair it. It's cool, I guess, but it would be cooler if instead of just lowering the damage whenever your gun is broken, if to where like maybe your accuracy was a bit off, or you could like have a misfire every once in a while. Something along those lines where there's different things that can break on your weapon instead of just your weapon health overall, if that makes sense. I think that would be cool. And also, like I said earlier, free range zombies, 100% would be amazing. Give me more of a reason to be afraid of zombies. Like, if I know there's an invisible border that I could just walk away from and be safe, I'm not that worried about them.
Yeah. Like, I think it'd be cool if Unturned became, like, the same atmosphere of The Walking Dead when The Walking Dead was good. Like,
yeah, back in season, 2.
Yeah, like, that's what I hope for 4. Yeah, I guess that was all. I guess, I don't know.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for like being here, I guess.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
All right.
Sounds good. Later.
All right. Later, man. All right. So this last chapter is less about Unturned as a whole and more me explaining my relationship with Unturned. To put it blatantly, I don't find Unturned really enjoyable anymore. If you paid attention during the interview section of this video where I talked to a shit ton of people, literally all of them said the same thing. They all said that they were burnt out on the game, or the game got stale after a while. Considering I have 2,700 hours on this game, I am burnt out. I've actually been burnt out for a long time. I'd say since 1,900 hours, I've been burnt out on this game. However, I have been forced to play it because if I don't upload Unturned content, my channel just fucking dies. Except recently, I uploaded a non-Unturned video, and all of them did really well. And that kind of gave me hope for moving on and doing other shit that isn't Unturned. And that's what I'm gonna do. This video is basically a farewell. No, I'm not quitting Unturned. Not yet. I'm still waiting for 4.0. I will be making a shitload of videos on 4.0. But I've done everything in 3.0. Literally everything you can do. Like, I don't know what else people want me to do. Like, I don't want to make 17 more Unturned trolling videos that aren't even going to do that well. I don't want to do that. I want to actually, like, have fun on YouTube and not be forced into this small niche of content. And I want to actually, like, expand and, like, bloom outward. Because that would be fun. And I have a lot of creative ideas, and I've planned a lot of projects that I want to do that are huge, and I want to make them really good. And Unturned is the only thing holding me back. This isn't a hate piece to Nelson, Smartly Dressed. I love Unturned. It got me to the point where I am now. But I feel like I could just go off and do anything I want now, and I won't really care because views don't matter to me. So that's what I'm gonna do. And that's basically the entire purpose of this video. It was to explain the problems with Unturned and why I'm leaving for an unspecified amount of time. That was it. So, thank you all. If you're still watching this somehow, thank you for listening to this fucking entire 32-minute video, Jesus Christ. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Now I know what's real and what is fake.